Hey everybody, welcome to a conversation on Second Kings. We're in week 5. Yes, Second
Week
Kings
5.
5, week 5. It's a United service.
United service.
Do you want to invite people to that?
Sure.
It was last Sunday.
It was last Sunday?
No, but maybe by the time they're listening.
The
Our Labor Day United service.
No, I get the podcast published the same day
That doesn't mean
or by Friday at the latest.
that doesn't mean people are going to listen on Friday.
You listen to a podcast that's been out for more than like 2 or 3 days, that's an instant delete.
This is
If it's not good
fascinating.
enough for me to listen when it's first published, it'll never be listened to.
It's true. I feel the same about YouTube videos. If there's one that's older, I don't like.
But what is older? Is it 3 days old?
It'd be 3 days old.
That's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah,
All right.
unless I'm doing like trying to learn something.
Yeah. But are people listening to our podcast that aren't like thinking about the subject we're talking about?
We have to ask them.
I
Hey,
guess.
if you could leave a comment down below.
Do you listen just for our lovely tones of voice and
Actually, this is
sound,
a college
or-
show. It's a college show.
Oh.
United services are had to do a hard shift. United services, we do 4 or 5 a year, where it brings all of our communities together for one service. There's part of the benefit or the joy of being together is it's not a moment where you get to know everybody. Like our weekly services are very like human scaled. There's opportunity to maybe connect more or deeper or with the same people repetitively, but there's also a lot of value in being present with the larger group. Doesn't mean that you necessarily talk to everybody, but it's awareness, it's empathy, it's understanding and connection. Some people, if you've been to or been a part of the Corner Church for a long time, it's like a reunion moment. If you're new to the Corner Church community, the thing that I hear over and over again is people go, I didn't really know that we were a part of this bigger thing, and there's some value in that. There is just shared experience. That's so much about relationship and connection. If you don't ever have shared experiences, you can really miss out on a lot. So it's a time to come. For some people, this call to action is a little tougher than others, but it's an opportunity to like share your name a few times, which that can sound terrible to some people, or get to know some new people that can maybe sounds good or bad to different people, but a lot of value in being together. Even simply just going, do you go to Corner Church often? Where do you go? And then our other big pictures things are our connection events and connection groups. And so some of like healthy Corner Church body of Christ thing is that when you have moments when you do have this depth of connection with people that you see on a weekly basis at church and community, but you also have depth of connection with different people from different communities as you do connection groups and United services together. So it's fun. We're going to be outside at Jackson Square Park, which is just a block, like it couldn't be any closer to Corner Coffee Northeast, and right in the neighborhood there between Edison High School and Corner Coffee Northeast. And it'll be super easy to find in the park because the park is 80% fenced off for construction, and we are in the 20% that is not. And so right next to the playground, we're going to do breakfast at 10, coffee at 9:30, and service shortly after breakfast. And so it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be warm. Bring some sunscreen. Put on some sunscreen. Bringing it doesn't protect you. And then, but we'll have breakfast, we'll do our service, and we'll be on our way. So hopefully we're not inside of Corner Coffee Northeast, because that's harder.
Not impossible.
Not impossible, but harder.
It'll be cozy. Cuddle up.
Warm.
It'll be warm. Oh,
Is the
yeah.
AC working there?
Yeah, AC works great now.
Oh, yeah. It hadn't there was some moments,
It was a
right?
day or two when it was 95 outside. It was
Oh,
fun.
Like next week.
95 outside and
110 inside.
inside.
Yikes. And then you add in 100 people. That
Yeah.
gets real warm.
Don't even have to put the croissants in the oven.
No, they're cooking.
Yes.
Oh, yuck. That's awful.
So if you can, bring something for the brunch. And then also, this is United Services. They're inviting people to church, I think, is always something to do out of relationship and connection. It's not just like bombing people as you pass by them. You don't like asking strangers. You should come to church. But a United Service is a great opportunity to invite somebody to say, "Hey, you should check out our church. You should come. This is a great time to come. Breakfast, people outside, relational. The splash pad is closed, but
Is it closed?
It was closed.
Oh, I bet it's still closed then.
But
That's sad.
playground is open. But hang out. It'll be a lot of fun.
Maybe splash pad turns on mid-service, and we just press a button and then have some water.
Splash pad.
It's hot enough. It's hot enough that we're all just sitting in the waiting pool.
That's
Yeah.
Set up the stage will be just outside, and then everybody just walks in and sits down in the warm.
If we baptize people in that, you have to roll them over because they just can't completely get under.
Someday we need to do baptisms in a splash pad.
There are those splash pads with the buckets above. You just get that ready and then just.
This is actually this was one of the retro ones with that.
Yeah, it has a little pool.
Little pool.
So yeah, you do have to roll them.
What's the one over by the quarry that actually has like a water park, but it's a community thing?
Yeah.
I bet there's a big splash pad there.
Yeah.
He's getting ready.
I've spent a fair amount of time at those when the girls were little, but you can't anymore. Like you don't go with your adult children to a splash pad.
This is true. Yes, you are correct.
So
that is rough.
You could go with your adult children should they have small children.
There we go.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, that era is coming or is past. So 2 Kings chapter 5. 2 Kings, we've been going through the recurring theme of persistence. 1 Kings has been hope amidst adversity or challenge or failure specifically. People, kingdoms, kings, all failed, over and over again failed. And that didn't remove hope from God's people. In fact, hope was not at all connected, or wasn't connected to the success or failure of the people. It was connected to who God is and his character, his love, his grace. 1 Kings ends with God showing love and grace to Ahab, who was declared as being the worst. And so like that's to swoop. Hopefully we're all swooped into that love and grace. If he has love and grace for Ahab, he probably has it for me. And so that's part of the joy, the hope in that. And then 2 Kings, there's this, how will you persist? We all have degrees of persistence in different things, not necessarily good or bad. And Kings really walks through that repeatedly as how will we, how is God persisting in relationship and love and connection? And today, as we come to chapter 5, this is a chapter of like incredible irony. Irony? How come that word sounded wrong as I said it? Irony. Is it with an R?
It doesn't. I think both ways are okay.
Really?
There's an R in it.
Irony. It's not irony?
How would you say the word ORNERY?
Ornery? Are you an ornery person?
No, I'm not.
No.
But I do know
You
people.
have to be south of the Mason-Dixon to be ornery. Yeah. Which I don't know where the Mason-Dixon line is. And so,
Maybe just to say it.
There we go.
Yes, I think there's plenty of people that are. Just to say it.
But so irony, man, I don't know why that got hard all of a sudden.
No.
Irony is
The irony.
the irony of Scripture. Irony is. Let's not say it anymore. The things not being as expected is like the focus of
Isn't
Scripture.
it ironic? Don't you think?
It's quite
It's a little too
ironic-y.
ironic-y.
But I jotted down a couple of these things just thinking about the Gospels. It's all, the religious leaders didn't recognize Jesus, while the people that were outsiders were recognizing Jesus as the Messiah. Children were the picture of what it is to be like in God's like godliness, as opposed to the religious authorities, the goodness of a Samaritan, the rich young ruler leaving empty-handed, Zacchaeus being an example of repentance and of perfection. This idea of washing feet as a master or as a leader. The soldiers mocking Jesus and putting the crown of thorns, the sign over his head. The idea of Jesus's coronation as Messiah being actually his crucifixion. All these things are like if there was a recurring theme that maybe we, for sure, I don't think that as that much about, maybe should give more thought to, is that uh, unexpected irony.
Yeah. I feel like the story we're getting into today is full of irony. Now I can't. It's very ironic. Because it's all about what you think is going to happen, and then people respond differently over and over again. And it starts with Naaman, this mighty warrior from Aram or Syria, and like they talk about him as like with all these great.
So this is the
enemy,
repeated enemy of Israel.
Yep. And they talk about him in this writing like he's a national hero, like he's this big deal, but he really is the enemy of Israel. And like he even has like they raided Israel, they took people, they didn't just take things, they took people. And he has a little servant girl who's from Israel. Naaman
that is
has
such a nice way to put it. Come on.
What you say?
Abducted girl from Israel,
you're right.
who was then taken on as his slave.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yes, that is a much more accurate depiction.
It's rough.
It is rough.
Right?
It's horrible. And so he's sick though. Like he's this big deal. He's all this.
Yeah, he took this little servant girl from Israel.
Yes, you're right. And he's physically ill. Physically, he's a sick person. And like he's all this power, all these things, and then he's sick and he can't fix that. And then she somehow, this abducted little girl, and they talk about her too as just being vulnerable. She's a slave in the household. She's young. She's female. So it's like all these things that she is vulnerable for. And she says that she wishes he knew the prophet in Israel could heal him, which doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want him to go to a place where he can be? Yeah, like wouldn't you just? Why?
And even better, he wasn't like,
let him die a slow death. Let him
mold.
Let his
that athlete's foot is bad.
That is not good for. Maybe she was like, I don't want to deal with this. And so if we could just, but she's his wife's servant. But yeah, somehow she doesn't want him to die. I don't understand it. Because I think all I would want, if somebody took me from my home, took me from my family, and I was a kid, like I would want revenge. Like
for me, I think that it would be very easy maybe to think what she did internally, to just go like, boy, if he knew Elisha, he could be healed, but too bad.
Too bad. Yeah, maybe she said it under her breath and somebody overheard her.
What did you say?
What was that? But yeah, she cares enough to want him to go. And then he goes to the king and asks permission to go. And he says, absolutely, go. Like this person obviously has high connections. He's important to the king. So he just sends him, and he brings all this gold, all this money, all these wealthy things to give to the king.
But in the king of Aram, like gives this like celebratory, like this, you should go. And like, just before and just after in the text of Second Kings, they're at war.
Yes, yeah.
And so, like, it is a weird. You should go. Yeah. Is weird. It would be like, again, saying a prize leader from your cabinet saying, "Man, you should go ask for help from our enemy, the ones that we've been killing and they've been killing us." It's ironic.
It is ironic. More irony. You did it. That was pretty good.
Don't you think?
I think so. Yeah. A little too much. Sorry, too many things happening all at the same time. So he goes, he brings all his wealth. I think one thing that it's kind of a side moment, but it's like recognizing that people kind of view kings or not kings, but gods, like needing to bring all your money to make an offering, and it's very transactional, all these things. So he's expecting to have to give all these things just to negotiate some kind of a healing. And then he gets to the king of Israel. And this actually, in some ways, makes sense that he's panicking. So the king of Israel, he comes to the king and says he wants to be healed. And the king tears his robe, has kind of a meltdown. Like, what do you think? I can kill you and I can, yeah, am I God? Can I take away and give life? And it's like he is just thinking that Aram has sent it, king of Aram has sent him as just a plot to try to give him this possible task that can't actually be done and hopefully have another reason to go back into war. And that's what the king is.
I do think so. In Egypt, which is a long time before this, this picture that the Pharaoh as God, for sure, the Israelites, Judah and Israel, the kings were not to think of themselves as deity, but a lot of their actions would say that they could make decisions as a God, and who to worship, who to follow, who to think. And so it is, I do think the irony of this is that for sure, the king would never be allowed to say, I am God. That would have been incredible sacrilege. But for him to just like defame the king's own power, everything that we see up to this point, the kings are like grabbing on and celebrating their power, their authority, their ability. And all of a sudden, to this moment, all of a sudden he goes, who do you think I am? I can't do this. So it was, it is, I mean, it's a good response, but it does stand in contrast, I think, to their character a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I agree with that. But Naaman, Elisha hears that the king has lost his mind. And I think it's funny because Elisha's like, I feel like he just overheard this somewhere and had to be just rolling his eyes. Like,
it's the Elisha brand, is that they lurk in the background and then
he
just pop
is
into the
lurky fellas. Like these guys, I don't know. They just know all that's going on. Yeah. So Elisha knows, and why have you done this? Why have you torn the robes? Just send the man to me. Like, it's just like, oh my goodness, don't you think, like, we'll be fine. Just send him to me. So Naaman goes to Elisha. He expects this grand, he is, again, a national hero. Like, this is why they're talking about him with all this honor at the beginning. Like, he has all these big things. He's a big deal. He goes to Elisha's house, and Elisha doesn't even come to the door. He doesn't welcome him. He doesn't answer the door when he knocks, like nothing. He just sends a messenger out and says, just go dip in the Jordan 7 times. You'll be fine. Like, it's this big deal. Like, it's nothing. And Naaman is furious.
Angry.
Like,
you don't even come talk to me. We have better rivers.
Yes.
But washing your little.
Yeah, right. Like, why did I have to come to this river when there's better rivers at home? He wants some ceremony. He even wants it to be hard, I feel like, because then the servants are like, this is not a big deal. Like, his servants, again, bring wisdom. And he's like, if he asked you to do something intense and huge, you would do it. Why won't you do this small little thing, like dip in the river 7 times? And so he listened.
The irony of this great leader, person who's able to make these big decisions in battle, all of a sudden his servant is making a great decision for him.
Yeah.
Maybe you should give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, even when the servant girl talks to him in the beginning or whatever it is, like, it isn't like that happens where a servant girl is able to tell the military leader what to do.
It's for such a time as this moment, right?
Yeah.
You're risking your life.
Yeah.
To stand up or speak to the authority.
Yeah. Which, in Esther, they talk about that and how it could have gone really bad. And thankfully it didn't. So Naaman listens to his servants. He does dip in the Jordan 7 times. He comes out clean, and he's a different person afterwards. He realizes that Yahweh is God. He goes back to Elisha. He tries again to give him all these gifts. Elisha refuses them, which is also interesting because that part of the culture is like, you accept gifts, but Elisha doesn't want it to be about the gifts. So he doesn't accept any of the gifts. And then Naaman heads home. He asks so instead of giving gifts, he asks for something. He asks for dirt so he can go home and build an altar for Yahweh, because he wants that to be the only God he worships.
It's like people from Texas.
Tell me more.
I've met multiple people who were born in Texas who, if they move away from Texas, they bring dirt with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not
From
saying
the
that people from
homeland.
Texas have issues.
I don't know.
We won't say that because we have a large listenership from Texas.
Might have some friends.
Yeah, maybe.
But okay. So yes. Okay. I don't know how else to transition sometimes. But Naaman heads back home with the dirt, and it feels like this should be the ending of the story. Like if it could end here, everything would be great. It would be happy, it'd be joyful, like God intervened in Naaman's life, and Naaman was changed, and he's bringing an altar to Yahweh back home. So it's the kingdom of God at work, like trying to help other nations know who God is. It would be beautiful. But instead, please, there's a bit of a plot twist. Things don't go the way it's supposed to. Gehazi, Elisha's servant, which is Elisha to Elijah. So Gehazi, thank you. You really looked at me sweetly when you said that.
I didn't know what you were saying at first.
that correction was harsh.
I'm sorry.
In my brain,
Okay.
yeah.
I only know that because I did the
listen.
I watched an old YouTube video of how to pronounce
Say
it.
it one more time.
Gehazi.
Okay.
I wrote it in my notes. H-E-Y, hey, Z-I. Gehazi.
Gehazi. It was. I hope that somebody
How'd you say it
watches
again?
this video.
Gehazi.
Gehazi, but Gehazi. Now I'm gonna have a hard time.
I don't know if that's correct. That's just what the YouTube guy
The
said.
YouTube guy. I always believe the YouTube
In YouTube
guy.
we trust.
YouTube we trust. I hope though somebody watched what I said that was hard so they see your face go Gehazi.
I hope we're all wrong.
Oh goodness. Okay, you were gonna say something though.
No, I just
it's gone.
I love
I was
that
probably going to say
Gehazi.
no.
Gehazi.
The other word you've said 1,000
I don't even
times.
know.
Irony.
I'm gonna put an irony counter on the screen.
Yes, this is so as Elijah's heir apparent or the next in line to be the prophet, the messenger of God was Elisha.
Yeah.
Now Elisha, the next in line,
Gehazi. Right?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yes, which I think is important to see this because we saw how Elisha followed Elijah, and it was, when Elijah was going to be taken up the hills in the chariots, he followed him, he kept going after him. He was told to stay, and he kept going and asked for a double portion, and now is serving the community. Gehazi, man, that's going to be. I got to really switch that. We hope that this man in this prophetic community is going to follow Elisha the same or follow Yahweh the same way.
And so the thing that is, again, it's meant to be, I think it's really meant to be part of the flashing lights of the narrative. Elisha refused to be separated from Elijah.
Yeah.
Persistently with. And then the thing that stands in complete contrast in this moment is that Gehazi, right? Gehazi. I couldn't remember which one was the right one. He sneaks away from Elisha and does this separate, alone thing. And this is,
he thinks it's ridiculous. He says what Elisha's doing, sending Naaman away with all this gold and all this money and all this wealth is ridiculous.
Yep.
And so
what is he going to do? He's going to ask for it all?
No. He's going to say, he makes up a story because if you're going to lie, you got to make up a story.
Some visitors came. We didn't expect.
We didn't know. Can you give me some silver and clothing? And
a little bit of clothes, a little bit of silver.
Yeah. And it kept feeling we'll get to that in a second. But so then he comes back, he heads back and he's on the other side of the hill before
separate
from Elisha, but he's on the other side of the hill waiting to be seen. And before Elisha could see him, he runs home and he puts his items away. Yes, he did. I feel like he skulks. He's sneaking home, put his items away, hiding them, and then he gets over the hill and sees Elisha and pretends like everything's fine. He didn't do anything. But Elisha,
where did you go?
I don't know.
I didn't go anywhere.
I also think it's funny you're lying to the prophet. I feel in the story we see that over and over again. Elisha knows.
Yeah,
Elisha knows.
And that'll next week it gets even more intense. Elisha knows.
Elisha knows.
I love it when a king says someone is spying on me. They even know what is happening in my bedroom.
Which,
That's the
no
memory verse
thanks.
next week.
Yeah.
No, it's it's Elisha.
It's Elisha. He
God is-
knows.
yeah,
He knows everything. Oh, but it reminds me a lot of Eden when they're hiding from
Yep.
God, and even like Ananias. Am I going to say that right?
Ananias.
Ananias. I didn't say it right. And what's the other one?
Sapphira.
Sapphira. Thank you. I had it written down. But when they're deceptive and trying to hide things from God, it's like you can't actually do that. I know he wasn't hiding it from God; he was hiding it from Elisha. But like as the prophet, he represents God, and I feel like we try to hide things. He's trying to hide things. It doesn't go the way he wants. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the hiding is interesting, but I think like the emphasis of this story is actually about like him seeking his own personal version of what he thinks justice is or what's right
Yeah.
and fairness. It's Jonah.
Yeah.
Those people are so bad. I can't believe God let them get away with it.
I think Elisha's response was not my spirit with you. That was his line to him. And so standing in contrast, Elisha's commitment to Elijah was there's value in community, and that it's not just like an accountability. It's like this taking on this mantle. He asked for this double portion, which was to be like an heir. And what
I love the next question. Go ahead. Gehazi. Oh man,
what Gehazi.
I worked so hard to say it the way that I did that it's going to take a long time.
I can't wait. You get to share the story on Sunday.
I'm going to practice. You stand up in the middle of the story and just look at me and go, Gehazi.
Every time.
But
usually I don't care. Only because I felt dumb last week going like, I need to figure out how to say this.
Yeah.
And I practiced it so many times.
I love it. No, that's good. It was good.
Not again just the sneaking away, but this idea of would all of this have happened if he persisted to stay with Elisha? And the answer is for sure no.
For sure no. Even like the question Elijah asked him, is this the time to take money and garments and vineyards and flocks from him? I mean, he didn't say all that, but it's like, I don't think he understands at all what's going on. I don't think, because I think this is a moment where, like Jonah, like where God is being, it's in this broken story where Aram is like, they've raided Israel. They've done terrible things to Israel. They've taken their people. They're an enemy land. They're all of these things. And God is using this moment to say, hey, like Yahweh is God. And spreading that and bringing that altar back home. And it's again, like, I think this is as an insider, feeling like an insider, this is a really uncomfortable story. Yeah. And when Jesus brings it back up in Luke, when he says, there were plenty of lepers, is that the right word? It feels like a weird word to say, but there were plenty of lepers, people with leprosy in Israel, but Naaman was the one that was healed. And it was like that they were furious when he said that. And it was, I think that it's really easy to feel like as the insider, we suddenly don't fit. But as an insider, you know these things. Yeah. It's the outsider that doesn't know these things. And God is, what it is a picture of God's grace being bigger than we expect it to be and welcoming people in. And the insider in these moments, they should have gotten it. They weren't getting it, but God opened it up to everybody beyond who they thought should understand, should get it, should be a part of the kingdom of God. And I think this is a moment where like Gehazi really missed the boat.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just his deception. It was also like, you have no idea what God's doing in this moment.
Yeah. That line that you said is just like the repeat, is that God's grace is bigger than they or I or anybody could have ever expected. And it's such a stretch to think that grace is for me, but to think about here's a moment where the unexpected is that God's grace is so persistent that it would extend to people, their enemy.
Yeah.
And so this is when Jesus
extend to people that have done horrific things to us.
Yes.
Like,
and so Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount, which is his irony message, everything is ironic or upside down. Jesus says, hey, it's great. People do love their family and they do love their neighbors and they do love people that love them. But I'm calling you to love your enemy. And like this moment of going, what? This is, no one's ever heard this before. But here we see that is the character of God centuries before, in a moment like, has God changed from this moment of Jesus the Messiah to the God that we see in the Old Testament? And no, we see his relentless grace and even grace to the outsider. It's happening.
I really like this story. I'm excited. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted us to do it at United Service because sometimes it gets so busy that we can miss. It just gets really busy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we get to share this story because I think even though there's some complications, and I think when you sit with it and you go, oh, these people that felt like insiders were missing things that God was doing. Like it's a beautiful message of, I mean, because we were the outsiders. I
Yeah,
mean, most
we
of us
are.
in this room, we weren't the Jewish people. We were the outsiders.
Most of us in this room?
Yeah, I know. I just was trying to make it. None of us in this room, sorry, none of us in this room are Jewish. So we were the outsiders that got welcomed in, and so this is us.
Yeah.
And now we get to do it again.
Yeah. Gorman, you're going to wrap it by talking a little bit about this parable, the vineyard.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is kind of where it goes to the kind of the insider and the outsider, is that when it's more transactional, your input somehow helps to determine the output.
That's so well said. Yeah, it's so true.
And there's a bit of I don't know, a bit of control, a bit of comfort there. You're going, I can kind of help move this around, and I can kind of steer this a little bit to some degree. But when God, says, no, I'm interested in the outsider. This person who hasn't contributed, who hasn't done anything, he's been working against you, and you're going to reach out to him, and that just, we're like, well, wait a minute, what
That's
about
not
me?
fair.
That's not fair. What about what I did? And that's not what it's about. I mean, with Naaman, this was, Ahab was the worst of the worst, but he still came to God. Naaman and Aram, they're like, they couldn't care less. They never had those moments, and until this happens, and God reaches out through Elisha first, and then Naaman responds with that. Ahab, responded, kind of within that context, but there was no context with Naaman like that, and it wasn't until he reached out and he was healed that he went, oh, wait a minute, and that's so antithetical, because we're like, but look at what I did.
Yeah, if it should have been transactional for anybody, it should have been for the outsider who didn't even care.
Yep.
And for Elisha to go, nah, I don't need your stuff. You're healed.
Yeah.
And now Gehazi to wreck with that. I go, no, it is transactional. That it says that from that moment, Elisha declared this. Naaman he had skin like a baby boy. That's what it says in the NIV. And
I wish it didn't, but it does.
I know. Memory verse for this week. But then the leprosy that Naaman had was now that condemnation was on to Gehazi.
Gehazi, yeah.
And so when it's grace and healing and provision and God's love, not transactional, there was healing. In a moment to move it back to being transactional, all of a sudden it was a stepping out where there was some condemnation. And so that's a hard thing to swallow, to think about, that when I view grace or my relationship with God as being something that truly is transactional for myself, or even more intensely for others, that in this narrative, leprosy was the consequence. But I think in our own lives, when I see that the grace for others to receive grace is it being transactional, it doesn't take a spiritual or a supernatural curse on me. There's intense consequences in that relationship and health
Yeah.
and how you relate to others. If you see your neighbor as somebody like God would love them if they, or our invitation to, I mean, this can be pretty hot or even intense to say, but if you would look at somebody and say, you can come to church as soon as you,
Yeah.
as
Figure
soon
it
as
out.
you, that it was putting again this transactional cost to grace that in this narrative has an incredible consequence.
Rich, you got the wrap up?
I love that. I don't love it, but the fact that Gehazi pays the stupid tax at the end, it's like it's just this moment of, oh, I needed something, and you got more than you expected
Oh,
because now
I know.
you have everything, right? But I think the three words that get me in all of this is
Skin like a baby boy.
no.
Okay, sorry.
That was the five words again. No. But just the moment of like Naaman comes back, says, "I want to give you all the stuff."
Yeah.
Great. Elisha says, "Nope." And then Gehazi's like, "I gotta get this stuff." But before he goes to get it, and after Naaman offers, Elisha doesn't just be like, "Okay, now go serve God, go do the thing." All he says is, "Go in peace."
Yeah.
There's a moment of, "Hey, look, I'm not going to take any of your stuff," and then he blesses him. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's the moment. Just like I think it's. I hope that he went in peace. Who knows?
I know. I like that.
Is there more Naaman someplace that we can read about?
No, but Gehazi shows back up, which
Yeah.
I'm shocked about. Like I was reading next week and I was like,
Leprosy boy.
how did you come back here?
Scabby.
Scabby.
Yeah, we get
We'll be
Gehazi.
calling him that because it's a little easier than Gehazi.
Scabby. Let's do it.
Naaman.
Sleep her in on your wedding day.
Oh man.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
I was trying to think of the